If you have a car, a good job, a house at home in Namibia or in Africa, why are you moving to Europe? Why are you moving abroad?
Thank you so much for coming to Hey Nog TV. Thank you so much for your visit. May I start by saying you look really, really beautiful. I see you representing our continent. I am Karen. Um, I'll give you the opportunity to introduce yourself. So tell us about you.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure speaking to you and being here. So my name is Esther Shikomba.
Okay.
I am born and raised in Namibia. Born in a small town in Namibia called Mufia.
Yeah.
It's in the northern part of Namibia. That is where I grew up, and I finished high school and moved to Bentuk, which is the capital city of Namibia,
Yeah.
where I attended my university. So I am a nursing graduate, and I've been practicing as a nurse for 18 years now. That is me. So I am also a founder of a community non-governmental organization. It's called Youth Empowerment Network of Namibia, where we mostly distribute sanitary pads to young schoolgirls that are struggling to get pads. And I'm also a YouTuber, by the way. My YouTube handle is Esther's Bucket List, where I create content mostly about traveling and also the process of relocation to the UK. Yes, I currently live in the UK now for the past 2.5 years now.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's me in a nutshell.
In a nutshell. Oh, beautiful. So you've only been here 2.5 years. I see you talk a lot about Namibia, your education there, the fact that you graduated there. So tell me, what brought you to the UK?
Like I mentioned, I am a nurse graduate. So, what brought me to the UK? I just saw, African nurses traveling and, working in the UK. So, for my love of traveling, I thought this could be, a good opportunity for me to travel.
Yeah.
So, I took this opportunity and migrated as a nurse. So, I currently work here as an international nurse, and of course that gives me a lot of opportunity to travel around Europe. So that is basically what really brought me in. That's the love of travel.
Oh, lovely. That's very good to hear. So that actually kind of brings me into the topic that I want us to talk about. You said you relocated to come and work here as a nurse. I get it. What happened is these are statistics that I got from the British High Commission in Namibia. My understanding is that in July 2023 around, they introduced visas for Namibians. I think that was kind of to make it a little bit difficult for people to come through because they were saying, oh, people abuse the immigration system. In 2016, there was a thing about, according to those statistics, there was about 27 maybe asylum seekers from Namibia, and that kind of shot up to 600 odd in 2023.
Yeah.
But I know it sounds very minute as compared to other nationalities. So this is just a personal opinion. I think the visa introduction was an extreme. So let me just ask you what you think about that, and then I'll go into my next question. Was it necessary? I mean, I understand 27 to 600 odd, if you put it as a percentage, is quite high. But then over the number of years, 2016 to 2023, I don't think that's too much. But do you think it was necessary?
To be honest, I kind of seen it coming, right? Because seeing where I came from, Namibia is quite a small country, and looking at my country, comparing it to any other African country, I think Namibia is doing relatively better than other countries in terms of economy. I know there is a high rate of unemployment, but I still think that there are so many opportunities that need to be, explored, of which I don't think the Namibian people or the Namibian youth are exploring, rather than, running out to, to go to Europe, to go to UK, to be specific. So I think, like I said, I've seen it coming because people don't travel for the right reasons. People took advantage of the whole system of the visa-less,
Travel.
So, and I know people are going to be mad at me for saying this, that it's a good thing that that visa is being removed that way, because it just puts a restriction to our youth, to the Namibian youth, which we already don't have. Put in mind that our population is already so small, and if we allow Namibians to be running out of the country for such invalid reasons, sometimes, it's just, it's not a good idea.
Yeah.
I don't, up to now, I've tried to do my research just to find out why Namibian youth actually really seek asylum, but no. And I don't think people do seek asylum for unemployment. Does it happen? Does it?
I don't think it should be a reason, because unemployment is not a fear of persecution.
Yes.
Asylum should be about a fear of persecution.
Yes.
I take it from what you're saying is that the youth are finding a reason to have some sort of permanent residency. And correct me if I'm wrong, my understanding of what you're saying is that you feel like the country is small.
Yeah.
The population is young, people are upcoming, but you feel like they're draining the brain power. Do you understand? By leaving Namibia and then coming over, but then you're seeking asylum. The question is it really worth it? Is it?
Before I answer that question, I would love to say that when you seek asylum, if you are unemployed back home, you have to find a job here. You don't seek asylum here for employment. You have to find a job so that you can travel, get a work permit, and come into the country, like I did. I came with a work visa.
Yeah.
I didn't come as asylum and then got a job as a nurse. No, I came as an
as a nurse. You came on your credentials.
So I just wanted to make that clear, because you don't seek asylum for employment. Somebody may correct me if I'm wrong. So coming to your question, I feel like it's not worth it to some, like it's partly worth it, partly not worth it. Okay, in a sense that if you are unemployed back home, unemployed, like or I understand people completed their degrees and they are still sitting at home, and if you manage to secure a job here, then it's worth it to travel and come and work.
Yeah.
Especially while you are young, you can come and work.
Yeah.
Because you are coming with the right reasons. You are having a work visa. You are not just coming to seek asylum. But it's also bad for people that are coming without papers. You don't just decide I'm going to a different country. It's not easy. And I think people need to do more research before they decide to even seek asylum, because I feel like people think seeking asylum is easy on its own. It's easy on its own, but it's not. I've met people that came to seek asylum and they are complaining, they are crying, they are struggling.
Because from the little information that I know, when you seek asylum, the very first few months or maybe to a year, you're not actually allowed to work.
Exactly.
It's kind of like you're living on handouts.
Yeah.
So is this something that the youth know before they come? Like, did you know this? Did you know that this is how it is? Or did you think was it made to feel like it's so fantastic to come and seek asylum and what you get out of it, but then the reality is different? Is that how you feel?
Yeah. I feel like, when people come here, whether to seek asylum or to work, they don't tell the truth. What they put out there is not, it's not the truth. People don't tell the truth of what's on the ground. You know, it's more like people want others to come into the same situation that they are in. You know, people will sell them dreams, those that are at home. You know, they will live like, oh well, I'm doing so well in the UK. I entered, so now I'm taken care of by the government. You know, I'm given a house. You know, I'm given allowances. You know, but again, it's not easy. Even though you are given handouts, it's not easy. It's not, life is not about giving handouts, because when you are given handouts, that means your what your freedom, you become dependent, number one, and also your freedom is taken away from you.
That's right.
So I think people that are here that came to seek asylum, or people that came to work, need to tell the truth, need to put out you know, they just need to tell the truth about the whole situation on the ground.
So what was your number one shocker when you came to the United Kingdom? What is it that you're like, oh no, I am definitely going to tell people about this one?
A lot.
Well, tell me.
So, you know, the one thing that really makes me want to like educate people back home is that when you just move to a different country, when you just live what you know, the way of lifestyle that you know, and you are going to start living in a totally different environment, and you're going to live a different lifestyle. That to me was a shocker. It shocked me because I don't think I prepared myself very well about that. Honestly, I didn't even think about going to live different. And that is what is happening. I'm living different. I'm not doing the things that I used to love back home. You know, I try to, but it's
not the same.
It's not the same. It doesn't come close to what I know. So that thing, that whole issue brings a lot of changes to one's, peace of mind, happiness, and all that.
That's very right.
Yes.
Actually, because it a lot of people that have migrated suffer from mental health related issues, and it's not because they're sick, but as Africans, and I'm not saying that there is no relationships or communities in the United Kingdom, but it's very difficult to feel included, especially when people have only just come to make friends, to make people that speak your language. So it might have been small things for you, like, was it the weather? Is it the food? Tell me, what is it that you kind of struggle with? Is it that those kinds of things?
Yes. Things like food, I struggle a lot with that. Because I feel like the food is so different, and I'm used to this. Back home, eat this organic, food that I grow myself, for example, that I don't have any opportunity to grow my own food. I can try, but it won't feel the same still. Because number one, the land, a backyard here. I have a backyard where I can try and grow some tomatoes, obviously, but it's not the same as back home. Our way of growing food is not the same, and also, the other thing is just that people are so, I find that people are like so antisocial, like in a way that, everybody is just, if you enter a train now, everybody's just on their phone, which is quite,
cultural shock.
Yeah, it's cultural shock because there's no interaction between people, like just moving like this,
like robotic,
yeah, just
robotic movement.
The train stops, we move out, like it's just the way things happen. It's like we are robots, we are not really
living in the moment. I understand, and I know we're talking about you, but I'll give you, for me, a bit of my experience when I just come, the things that kind of like I felt were a bit different, that I was like, maybe it's not as it's meant to be. I struggled a lot with programs on TV.
Yes.
The things that are shown on TV. But now that I've been a very long time, I realize that in time you get accustomed to these things and you think they're okay.
Yeah.
And I tell me about you, because I don't know. Do you feel the same? Like, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. All I'm just saying is, to the people that would want to come, these are the things that they might end up struggling with.
Yeah.
Like looking at, you know, skimpily, say perhaps breast girls on TV, and it's open for everybody. I don't know. Did you struggle with things like that?
Yes, I totally get you. Because obviously back home I used to watch DSTV, which is not here, by the way. So I used to like this South African and some African, soaps very much, And coming here is like you are detached. Like there's nothing on the TV that interests me. So I don't even watch TV anyway, by the way, anymore. Because I don't know, maybe if I'm to watch TV, then I'll watch maybe a movie on Netflix or something. Because the soaps that are playing here, they are totally not my kind of thing. The other thing I wanted to mention also is that, the work culture, like it was also a very, very big culture shock for me, because I feel like the work is like you just work. Here it's like you just work. Okay, so my nursing background, we do a lot of trainings back home in Namibia. We do a lot of trainings where we go for workshops. Like we travel to different towns just for a training,
Yeah.
And when you go for that training, it's fully paid. You stay in a hotel for a week, it's fully paid. You are paid as well for traveling for that training.
Yeah.
Coming here and starting work here, it's totally different. There's nothing like that. The trainings are online. You do them at your own place, or they come to the workplace to train you in the workplace on service training. So there's nothing fun about that.
So you miss the interaction.
Yes.
Yeah, the human relationships. Yeah.
Yes. And I think if you are a Namibian nurse watching this, I think you would even understand better, because you totally know what it is to go for a workshop. It's like you are going for a short holiday. You go to a different place for training, and then you come back to your workplace. So that doesn't happen here. I feel like the work culture here is just work, work, work. You have to work. You have to work. And also what shocked me is that when you are sick here, you don't get paid. Where I'm working, for example, when you are sick, when you're calling sick, you are sick. So that means that day you don't get paid. But at home, when you are sick, you are sick. Nobody invites sickness, right? So you get paid for that day. You are at home, you are sick, you can't come in for work.
Yeah.
But hey, it's Tuesday. Did I invite the sickness? Did I? Yeah, something like that.
But maybe that one, I don't know. I can't really get into it, but I think it probably depends on maybe the type of visa you're on, or where you're working, because there is people that do get paid for being off sick. Yeah. But I totally understand you, and I get, why, you say that there is all these challenges. But when we think about it, or when you sit back and reflect, is it a decision you would make again, do you think?
No.
Tell me why.
It's not something that I would do again. Because first of all, I'm grateful that I got the opportunity to travel, right? Because I feel like you don't appreciate your country when you don't live outside your country.
Yeah.
You only come to realize the good things about your own country when you leave it, when you live outside. So that is what happened to me.
Yeah.
Like when I got here, I just started looking back, and I'm like, no, honestly, things are much, much better. We are not doing that bad. It's doable. I can actually live in my country at this point. So and I just appreciating all the little things that happens back home, So that means if I have to do it all over again, I would not do it again. Okay, so if I was home, and obviously, like I mentioned, the reason why I traveled is because I love traveling, and I thought this would give me many opportunities to travel. I would do it in a different manner, where I will go for holidays. I would come here for holidays rather than moving to stay here like permanently or for some years.
Yeah. And again, that's the misconception. But thing is, was it easy for you though to try and relocate? What was the process like? Was it a lot of planning involved, a lot of saving involved? And then the expectation when you came, what were the challenges? What can you tell me a bit about that?
So it was a process. It was quite a long process that took me around 2.5 years.
Yeah.
To just finish it.
Yeah.
Because there's so many things involved. When you move here, you have to prove that you can communicate in English.
Yeah.
So that means I had to take English tests, which I struggled with because I'm not an English person. So,
But what's the national language spoken in Namibia?
It's English.
It's English.
Yes.
Okay, I understand.
So so I had to take English tests a couple of times. I repeated until I passed that test.
Yeah.
And then there are other tests that I needed to do, computer-based tests and all that. And then there was this gap year of COVID-19 that I didn't do anything because everything was just, nothing was happening.
Yeah.
But I'd say it was a struggle both financially and it took a lot of time because these tests are costly,
Yeah.
you pay them out of your pocket. Even though the good thing is that when you come over, they might refund some of your tests. So after I've done all those tests, completed the process, went through the job interviews, then secured a job. And then when I got an employer here, they sponsored me.
Yeah.
So they paid for everything involved. So flight ticket, accommodation for the first 3 months, and so that was the process.
So we've talked about the asylum bit, but we've also talked about you coming on a work visa. In a nutshell, what we are saying is there is more than one reason, or there are many opportunities for how people can come over. And this is not just applying to Namibia, it's applying to other African countries, right? But are we saying that people would, although you've come as a nurse, you have a good job, you have a yard where you can grow your tomatoes if you wish to do, you have the freedom to travel as you want, but actually somebody who's come on as seeking asylum is not afforded the same luxury as you kind of have. Is that what we're saying? And if that's the case, what we are saying is, come on, guys, there is people are educated. Yes, there is no jobs and whatever, but there are better ways of coming to the United Kingdom. And if you're coming to the United Kingdom, be ready because it's not what it's made out to be. Is that what we're saying in a nutshell?
Yes, that is what we are saying. So I think people out there just need to educate themselves more before they take that, decision of coming over. We are not trying to discourage anyone to come over. But obviously, me being here, I really like to put it on the table as it is, that coming over here, whether through asylum or whether through work visa, SIM, it has its own, disadvantages. Even though it has advantages, it also has disadvantages. So just be prepared before you take that decision to travel.
But I don't know what you think, but is it that I think we are so fixated on material things that we actually fail to see everything else that is good about what we have? Because having a big house or having money
is actually, in a grand scheme of things, is not happiness. There is more to it, so that maybe our youth back abroad needs to appreciate.
Mm-hmm. I think sometimes we don't appreciate what we have, right? Honestly, I've seen people sell their properties to come over to the UK, and I feel like I want to tell people that what you are living back home is what you're finding here. And also, you might even be living something that is better than what you're finding here. For example, in Africa, the reality is that we have so much land to build our houses the bigger size as we want them. I can design my room as big as I want it. But trust me, when you come over, the room that you are going to see is the size of a bathroom. So that is a room for you. So that will shock you. So I feel like people don't need to, get rid of their things back home. What you have, if I always say this, if you have a car, a good job, a house at home in Namibia or in Africa, why are you moving to Europe? Why are you moving abroad? What is the reason that you are really moving abroad? Why? Because honestly, in the process of moving, there's so much to lose as well. You you lose so much. You are coming here to a totally different system that you may not like. I think maybe people need to visit first and then see what it is. Because in the back of my mind is I feel like if I knew what I know now, I would not have, moved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so what do you say to that one person who is thinking, well, I don't have a job, I've hit the wall, I need to go and find greener pastures? What advice would you give that person?
If a person is young.
When we say young, tell me what you mean. Because if you're asking me, I'll tell you I'm young.
Mhm.
I have grandchildren. So what do you mean by young? Tell me.
So when you are young and you are still in that working age, let me say you are younger than maybe 40 years, I would say you can. If that is if you are not employed, that is if you don't have a job at all at home, right? You can still travel. If that is if you have secured a job over here, not when you're coming to, seek asylum and be in the streets of London, So you need to look at yourself. What do you have? I think you also need to explore the opportunities around you, first of all. If you cannot make it at home, I don't think you can make it in here. I don't think so. If you are struggling to make it at home, you can't make it at home. You will not make it. If you already don't save money back home, you will not come and save money here. It won't change for you. It won't. So we need to first do a self-introspection before we take this. It's a big step. It might seem like it's a small thing. No, I just moved over. It's a reality will just hit you, and then you'll be like, oh no, I shouldn't have done this. And the other thing is that going back is also not easy. Moving back home is not easy. Yeah.
Tell me why you say that.
I'm saying that because I've thought of moving back home myself before, like a lot of times.
Yeah.
Just because when I came, I felt like, oh no, I can't do it.
Yeah.
I can't do it. I'm struggling. I can't do it. I'm better at home. I'm better off at home. But then again, thinking of, going back home, there's a lot involved. You are going back home. You've been away to Europe. You don't have any money saved. I don't have any money saved. You've only been here for a year or 2 years, which won't give you enough time to save money. The reality is that you are living here, you are paying bills here. So don't tell me you've saved money in 2 years. And saving money, I mean money to go and help you maybe start up a business or, buy and build yourself a small house or do something. Because you know how our people are back home. They are going to stigmatize you.
Yeah.
You went abroad, you came back, you have nothing.
Yeah.
You know, how they are going to, and you fall into depression now. You are thinking, I came back home to my people, I came back to feel at home, but now you came back with nothing. So that is why I'm saying it's so difficult once you get here to go back home. It's so difficult. Sometimes you don't even have ticket money to go home. You don't have it. And you don't even want to go empty-handed. You can't. You have family.
Yeah.
So it's rather not come than to come and thinking about,
and then you're stuck.
you will get stuck. That is the correct word. It's like you get stuck here.
Yeah.
People live here for so many years. I've seen people live here for so many years, but without ever going back home. Like, imagine your parent passing away, your mom dying, but you can't even go home to attend the funeral of your own mom or your sibling. So it becomes so hard. For people.
So we touched a little bit about feeling lonely, having communities around us. Do you live by yourself or do you have any family here?
Oh yes, I live with my kids. I'm a mom of two. So I brought my kids in a year ago.
Yeah.
So I live with my children here.
Yeah. And how has it been?
It's been a roller coaster, to be honest. Because raising kids here also has its own challenges. I'm a single mom of two, so that means it's just me and the kids. So I have to make sure that my kids are okay, and I also have to make sure that myself I'm okay for the kids. So yeah, it's a good thing that they are here though, because I feel like I now have family. I'm not alone. Yeah, because they keep me company. So
but what are the challenges? Like, say, do they struggle in terms of the reason I'll say this is, say for example, I have a friend of mine. This child was really struggling with the Western kind of culture, as everybody had to buy the latest Nike trainer, and these trainers are very expensive, £200 a pair, and this child just wasn't into that. He wasn't into designer shoes. He wanted, just his everyday normal shoes. But the child was bullied in school. So, but how are your children taking it? Is a cultural difference affecting them? Do you think they are coping?
Okay, so the thing is that sometimes when we bring the kids, we don't sit down on the table and speak to the kids. As a mother, I decided I'm coming to the UK because I know it's a different country and I know it's but the children don't know. They are young. They don't even know how far it is. They just know they sat on that flight for quite some time.
Yeah.
But what I'm trying to say is that children don't know, they don't know what they are facing. They don't know that they are facing things differently the way they were taught in school. They are suddenly brought into this different environment with different white people. Let me just say, you find that your child is the only black child in class, for example, and obviously it's a challenge. As a child, you are scared.
Yeah.
It's scary for a child. Even me, I would be scared to just find myself, oh no, I found a new school for you, and then boom, I'm in a class filled with white people and I'm black. So it's a culture shock for the kids, and it's not easy.
And it's not only just the skin color of it being you're the only black in a white class, but the especially in the UK, there's a big thing about accents.
Yeah.
I don't know why people's accents are looked down upon, and I think that is also an area that children that migrate kind of find a bit difficult.
Oh, yes.
I don't know what you think.
Oh, yes, it is. Because, sometimes kids don't even understand what the teacher is saying or what the others are saying. So it makes it difficult to communicate. That already contributes to stigma and racism also,
Yeah.
So the kids don't understand what it is, what they are going through. So it's important as a parent to, I think we need to prepare our kids mentally before we decide to bring them over. We tell them what kind of people they're going to meet, the difference in accents and all that. So the kids often, many times, I'm talking out of experience, my children will come back from school and be telling me, no, somebody called them this, called them that, somebody laughed at them just because, things like that. So it's challenging. It becomes very challenging when you're bringing children, because now it's not just you dealing with this whole whether it's racism or whatever. It's not just you. You also now have to defend your children, which is also difficult to do because you are not at school with your kids. You drop them at school, they are all by themselves. Sometimes the teachers are also racist themselves. Even if the child reports to them, they just sweep it under the rug, and in the end, who's suffering? The kids suffer the most. Yeah. I'm not saying all of them, but honestly, it's just something that really happens so often, and I think it's immigrants or Africans that move abroad. It's something that we need to prepare ourselves for. It's something that nobody can take away. This thing of discrimination against color, skin color, it's something that I think will just remain there as long as you move to Europe, to these countries.
And I understand what you're saying totally, but again, these are some of your reasons, as you say, why we're saying that people should. I understand they're looking for opportunities, but get prepared, be ready that these are some of the hurdles or the difficulties that you're going to face. It's not all a bed of roses. And is it really easy to find a job? Is it green? Is it really greener pastures?
I wouldn't say it's greener pastures, to be honest. It looks green when you are not there. When you are looking at it from far, it looks so green. Looks so green and so appetizing when you look at it. But when you get here, you will see that it's actually not green. How did I see green? Where is the green that I saw from far? So that is how it is. And I think, honestly, people us that are here are the ones that need to paint the picture as it is, and I try to do that sometimes on my channel, because I don't want to sell people dreams. I don't know how many people I've told the reality of things, and I've managed to change their mind. There are people that I know from back home, for example, the person is doing so well, and only me that's here that will know that you are doing well. You are actually doing well the way you are. You are doing well, and don't give up on that one. Continue to work hard and do, explore other areas. And if you really want to travel, come for your holiday or something like that, and go back home. Home will always be home. And if you give up home, just know that you also just have that feeling of non-belonging. You just don't feel belonging at all when you move out of home.
And that is actually a very, very big thing.
Yeah.
When that sense of not belonging, I think, is what destabilizes a lot of people as individuals, as families, as couples, So again, thank you so much for sharing that with us, so that people can understand that it's not all a bed of roses. But we also have to be positive.
Yeah.
So on a positive note, what is good about migrating to the United Kingdom?
Well, the positive thing is that I've managed to travel here and there, of course, through Europe. Not much, but I mean, I'm only here for 2 years, but I've managed to, see different things. And I've also, I'm changed. I've become a changed person since I traveled here. I'm not the same Esther is, the one that was back home. Let me say I'm more open-minded. I'm seeing more opportunities in everything.
Yeah.
You know, I can advise anybody better than better than before.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a change to me totally. And I've also met people, people like you.
Like us.
Yes. Yeah, and obviously I've experienced different weather. I experienced the snow, and they are positives.
Yes.
They are positives.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not just negatives.
I like that you say that, and perhaps the message we need to send back home is the greener pastures should not be material.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be about, oh, I want to build a bigger house, so I want to get a bigger. No. The greener pastures should be like, for me, the one thing that I take away from the Western world or being in the United Kingdom is the fact that they have systems in place. They have standard operating procedures. It's not haphazard, like you just wake up one day and I'm going to do this. No. There is process.
Yeah.
And that makes life easy. And I guess that's what creates these opportunities that people back home think they don't have back home.
Yes.
So we probably need to take a step as Africans and find a way ourselves of how we can show our youth the goodness, the opportunities that are on our continent.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you. And I think that obviously all of us that traveled out of Africa, we have gained a lot of knowledge, a lot of skills, and a lot of,
empowerment.
Yes, we are empowered.
Especially for we the women. We are so empowered that we can stand up and I'll say to you, no, I don't like that. That's not right.
Yes.
That doesn't make me a bad person, a bad wife, a bad woman, but I can, feel free to talk and express myself without being scared,
Yes,
Yeah.
correct.
Yeah.
Adding to that, I feel like if we had to take our knowledge and experiences that we gained from the West, and use it back home. One day, obviously, I know all of us one day would want to go back home. Like nobody wants to stay here for forever. Maybe they are, but obviously, if we have to take this knowledge and just plant it back in Africa, explore all the opportunities that are there with what we have gained here. Africa will just be great. It will just be great.
I agree.
And also educate the youth that are back home and, paint a different picture, that it's not greener there. It's not greener. We can water our, grass here and then we'll be fine. There's
water it, manure it, and turn it greener.
There are so many opportunities, especially in farming in Africa. I think African youth need to explore more in the farming sector, because it cannot go wrong. When you are a farmer, you can't go wrong. We are eating all the time. We are consuming food. So with farming, you will never go wrong with farming.
But I think it's all the hype, isn't it? Well, I want to be in an office on a computer. So we buy into a facade, You don't, and yet there is. Why would you be unemployed if you have a farm? We was in the morning and go and
because
grow some tomatoes.
Yes, the youth think that farming is a dead job.
That's what I mean. It's a facade. You're buying into. You think it's all about computering.
Yes.
No, and actually, there's multi-millionaires that are in farming.
Oh yes,
yeah. So,
if we venture into farming, obviously we have the land. We have the land, plenty of land, like where I come from in the northern part of Namibia, where families have these big yards of land, where everyone in the family can actually take a piece of land and do farming, whether it's poultry, whether it's piggeries, whether we can all do farming, We feed ourselves, we get some profit from it. I think we just need to educate people back home. Yeah, because obviously, with moving here, you give up on your own freedom as well. It's not just a matter of, coming. You give up on your own freedom to come and work.
Break that down a little bit.
Like when I said before, here it's just work, work, work. So it's like there's no balance between work, family, social. Like you just have to work. That's why people here end up working 3 types of job. I've not seen a person in Namibia working 3 types of jobs to make ends meet. People survive on that one job.
And they're happy.
And they're happy with whatever they are getting from that job. But here, you are almost forced to do many hours. Even myself, I've sometimes find myself doing, 2 jobs or extra hours just to make ends meet. Because if I don't do that, then I won't save money. And if I'm not saving money, where am I heading to? What am I doing? Because any day they can say, go home. They can take away my visa any day. So what do I do? Because when you are in the work, you can do a single mistake. And people will say, you know what? You are incompetent, or what you did is totally wrong, and we are taking away your practice certificate. So that means the visa is taken away and you are going home. So how do I go home without anything? That is now the stigma that I'm going to face. What I mentioned before, that you are going home and then you're going home with absolutely nothing, and to just go and start all over, you don't even know where to start.
Yeah. I've kind of picked up on something else there that is also maybe something that people need to think about before they come. Just being on tenterhooks, they might take away my visa. You're not settled mentally.
Yeah.
Oh, I might go back. Oh, I might do the. Do you see what I mean? Again, it's a detriment to your health, isn't it?
Oh, yes. Oh, and having said that, I'm speaking now on myself, on my field of profession. We practice with a pin, When we do all these tests, we get a pin that we practice with. And you find that in the work, you are mostly threatened that, oh, you do this mistake. Do you know that the council can take away your pin? So it's like you're constantly reminded that you don't belong here. Your pin can be removed, and you go home even though people are not saying it. So they will always tell you to say that to you, like your pin can be taken away. So it's a reality. And back home, I do have a pin back home. What we don't call it pin. You are just registered.
Yeah.
But
your mistake, the potential to make a mistake is not used against your livelihood.
Yes.
You see,
yes.
I get what you're trying to say.
I've never been threatened to that you'll be removed from the register or something like that. No, we all make mistakes here and there, but to come and tell me that your pin will be removed, it's totally it's not
unsettling.
Yes, it's unsettling. That is why you are just unsettled,
So I'm just thinking, where do we see Esther in 5 years? Are you going to have your own maybe nursing practice in Namibia, and you're then employing all the youth and saying, no, you're going to London, there's good opportunities here? Is that what you're looking to do?
Oh, yes. It's like you're reading my mind. So whether doesn't even have to be a nursing practice. But honestly, I feel like I like to be free, and that is one thing that makes me sort of regret coming over, partly because, like I said numerous times, when you come over, it's like your freedom is gone. When you go into work, you are in work. When you go on break, you have a 1-hour break. Your break is divided into 3. First, you take 15-minute break, and then the main break, 30 minutes break, and then the afternoon break, because we work 12 hours, 15 minutes break, of which 15 minutes to me is so little, because by the time I finish warming up maybe making a cup of tea or maybe pouring a drink, 5 minutes is gone. Or even before I even sit down, when I walk from the unit to come to the
Your 15 minutes is
15
already
minutes is done.
Mm.
So and that was a culture shock for me, because back home your break is your break is your 1 hour altogether. It's not broken down like that. So it also shocked to me, because for me it's just not enough. I can't eat in 15 minutes. And those are things, little things, but big things that people need to know before you come over. Your breaks are divided. So yeah, so it's not easy. It's not easy. Yeah.
Yeah, so, but, and I know coming over is not for the faint-hearted, and it takes a lot of planning, it takes a lot of finance to only then come and realize, oh, maybe I made a big mistake. So what we're saying here is that
You need to plan very well. Because imagine now you have sold your house to use that money to travel, especially for people that are not sponsored. I myself I'm sponsored. Everything is paid by my employer. But for some people, they buy their own tickets and all those things. So they end up, selling their own property home to fund the process. Imagine now funding this process just to come here, and then you find that no, I don't like it. That is why you are stuck. You are trapped. You are not going home. There is no way you are going.
There is nowhere to
There
go back
is no
to.
home. There is no home back home.
and there's shame.
There is shame. There is stigma. There is a lot going on. You can't go now. You are forced to stay. You are trapped now. You can't go anymore. So you are unhappy. You really don't want it, but you can't leave it. You can't leave. That is how it is.
I understand you. Thank you so much for your wise wisdom and for your opinion. But just before we finish, can you maybe give us just a few more words about that we can go away with? Yeah.
So not to make it so negative. Obviously, we came, we traveled, we seen, we enjoyed. We've seen, we experienced, it's a good thing to experience Europe once in your lifetime. So I don't want to make it just a negative experience, sort of. But obviously, honestly, like I mentioned before, just do your own research first before, or even travel and just come for holiday first before you decide to give up on your freedom, on your peace of mind, on your livelihood, on your culture, on your, to just come here. Because when you come, it's like you let go of so many things that used to happen to your life, and it's like you sort of completely live a different lifestyle. So you need to make sure that you are well prepared. Speak to people that are already there. Me, if you call me personally and you ask me to be real, like to tell you what is really happening, if you're back home, Esther, I'm planning to come, is it really worth it? I will tell you what it is, how I feel, what is really happening, So I'll just advise anyone to just do research, do due diligence, like just speak to people, just so that you know what you are going into. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Esther. It was actually really nice speaking to you. Thank you for your wise wisdom and your thoughts on this. But so you've talked about people calling you if they need any advice and stuff like that. Tell us, how can people reach you? What are your social handles?
So if anyone wants to reach me, I mean, people already reach me via Instagram. I think they come from my YouTube, because I sometimes share my Instagram there. So anyone that wants to reach me, honestly, I have time for people. I'm not those people that don't even respond. I do respond to people, especially people that are asking me about this whole process. I really, really make time for them, So you can reach me on Esther's Bucket List. That is my YouTube name, and it's also my Instagram name. It's the same. Esther's Bucket List. So if you have any questions, come on, just ask me a question. I will definitely answer to your questions if you have any questions.
Thank you so much. And that is that from us at Henok TV. Until next time.
Oh, thank you so much. I also want to take this opportunity to thank you. I've been following your YouTube channel as well, and I've seen some very interesting interviews there.
Yeah.
Very, very inspiring. I think Namibian youth or African youth also need to watch those videos because people are doing amazing things. The young people are doing amazing things. If you watch those videos, it's motivating. So I think for the viewers, that if you just browse through all those videos,
They should explore
Henok TV. There's so many videos that I saw that are so inspiring. Some of the people that I saw, they were my classmates long time ago, primary school. Yeah. And I was so impressed to see what they are doing now. So, yeah.
Thank you so much. That's a really lovely comment. Thank you.